Victoria Jane Nuland is the Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs at the United States Department of State. Early life and education. Nuland is the daughter of Yale bioethics and medicine professor Sherwin B. Nuland, whose original surname was Nudelman. Victoria unregistered trademark S. paternal grandfather was Mayor Nudelman from a family of Jewish immigrants who came to New York City from the Russian Empire. Victoria Nuland graduated from Choate Rosemary Hall in 1979 and has a B.A. from Brown University. Nuland has 2 children. Nuland unregistered trademark S. husband is historian Robert Kagan, Council on Foreign Relations member, and co-founder of the think tank Project for the New American Century. Career. During the Bill Clinton administration, Nuland was Chief of Staff to Deputy Secretary of State Strobe Talbot before moving on to serve as Deputy Director for former Soviet Union affairs. She served as the Principal Deputy Foreign Policy Advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney and then as U.S. Ambassador to NATO. Nuland became Special Envoy for Conventional Armed Forces in Europe and then became State Department spokesperson in summer 2011. She was nominated to serve as Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs in May 2013 and sworn in to fill that role in September 2013. During her confirmation hearings, she faced sharp questions about a memo she had sent outlining the talking points that would be used by the Obama administration in the days shortly after the 2012 Benghazi attack. A former colleague said of her, "I have no doubt that when she sits down for a family dinner, she is the biggest neocon at the table." Leaked phone conversation. On February 4, 2014, a recording of a phone call between Nuland and U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Jeffrey Piat, on January 28, 2014 was published on YouTube. A diplomatic source stated that an assistant to the Deputy Prime Minister of Russia Dmitry Rogozin was the source of the leak, which Rogozin denied. In the recording, Nuland makes an obscene reference to the European Union. After discussing Ukrainian opposition figures, Nuland states that she prefers the United Nations as mediator, instead of the European Union, adding "fuck the EU," and Piat responds, "Oh, exactly," according to the Washington Post. Nuland was dismissively referring to slow-moving European efforts to address political paralysis and a looming fiscal crisis in Ukraine. But it was the blunt nature of her remarks, rather than U.S. diplomatic calculations, that seemed exceptional. Nuland also assessed the political skills of Ukrainian opposition figures with unusual candor and, along with the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, Jeffrey Piat, debated strategy for their cause, laying bare a deep degree of U.S. involvement in affairs that Washington officially says a Ukraine unregistered trademark S to resolve. She has been in contact with her EU counterparts, and of course has apologized, said State Department spokeswoman Jen Psaki, who also acknowledged the authenticity of the recording. Initially, a spokeswoman for EU Foreign Policy Chief Catherine Ashton stated on the same day that the EU would not comment on a leaked alleged conversation. The next day, however, Christiane Wirtz, Deputy Government Spokesperson and Deputy Head of the Press and Information Office of the German federal government, stated that German Chancellor Angela Merkel termed Nuland's remark absolutely unacceptable. The President of the European Council, Herman Van Rompuy, condemned the remark as unacceptable. In their phone conversation, Nuland and Piat discussed who should be in the government after Viktor Yanukovych's ouster, with the name of Arseniy Yatsenyuk coming up several times. References. External links: Official biography at the U.S. State Department, Official biography at the U.S. State Department, Official biography at the U.S. NATO mission website, works by or about Victoria Nuland in libraries, appearances on C-SPAN, C-SPAN Q&A interview with Nuland, June 18, 2006.